Two agents, same market, same skill level, same work ethic. One started building their visibility foundation 6 months ago. The other has been meaning to get to it. Today, those two agents are not in the same position. The first one's getting recommended by AI tools they never set up. They are receiving inbound leads from content they posted in January. They are getting calls from referrals who looked them up first and were impressed before the conversation started. Now, that second agent is working just as hard and wondering why results feel so inconsistent. The difference, guys, it's not talent. And it's not effort, it's compounding. Okay. And today we're going to show you exactly how it works. This is Elite Zone. Let's go. Oh man, I'm fired up for this one today. Blake, what's going on?
Top of the morning. How we doing? I see you are excited. I'm excited. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, we're talking about compounding and what that actually means for real estate agents like you all listening to this. And just before we get into that, Blake, is the top of the morning, you say that a lot. Is that because you're from the East Coast? Are you Irish?
I'm mainly Italian. I do have 7% Irish.
Okay, I was going to say Ferretti doesn't seem like an Irish name, but when you come on
No.
here, top of the morning to you. I love it.
Morning.
I love it.
It's that good energy that I feel like that slogan has. So
it is. Yes, I completely agree. So let's get into this. So marketing that pays you back more than you put in. The reason why compounding feels like that is because after the consistency, right, then it's the amount of effort, the ROI and the gains grow, but the amount of effort stays the same. Right.
Yeah.
It just starts to. Right. So most agents think about marketing the same way. They're running ads. It's like, money and time in, you get attention. But if you stop, the attention stops. So that's like the linear model. So how does compounding visibility work? And why would real estate agents want to know about that mechanism?
Absolutely. So I like to think about it like this. So we're going to use an example of a video. So let's say you have an agent, or maybe you are this agent that took a simple video we'll start with this year, back in January. Okay. The beginning of the year, you took that video and you were using it to just really explain contingent offers and how they work in their market. And let's say you only got around 300 views on that, and you thought to yourself, well, that was a waste. I spent time taking that video, I posted it, and I only got 300 views, maybe 2 likes, nothing crazy.
Right. So stop, right? This isn't working.
Let's fast forward to, let's say, April. Okay. So months go by, and a buyer then finds that video on your website, maybe your social media, maybe they read it off of a blog you then posted about the contingent offers in their market. And then what they do is they fill out a contact form. And in that message, they actually write, hey, I've been watching your content for a few months, and I feel like I already know you, and I would love to connect to talk more. So that video that you took in January, where you felt didn't do anything, actually then just produced you a potential client in April. So what happens is most agents judge the content right after it's posted, right? Yep. Maybe 3 days after, they're like, produce nothing. Maybe even a week after, I feel like it didn't hit. It didn't work. I'm not going to waste any more time. But instead, what we need to focus that shift on is consumers don't often discover your content until really months later.
For sure.
It's so important to understand that your efforts could take months to get discovered and get visibility. And that's why we always say you have to keep being consistent, so that way the compounding can work and then people can discover you. So that's why it's important of understanding the compounding effect and how the marketing does pay off. It does.
hmm Just so we clear this up, because
Yeah.
I've got I've talked about visibility with agents before, and they'll be like, okay, well, how do we do a campaign like that? And I've explained it's not a campaign. Like, the visibility strategy isn't a campaign; it's an asset that you use, because a campaign will run out, right?
Absolutely.
But this asset
Absolutely.
appreciates. So every week,
100%.
yep,
100%. And
yep. So you got to keep.
that's the exciting part. And I love that you just brought up the asset piece because, and this might be another example that hopefully someone listening right now also relates to. Like, here you do an open house versus, you have your asset of this
Mhm,
visibility structure and understanding the compounding effect, right? When you think about it, an open house is linear. You spend 3 hours there on a Sunday, and then once it's over, it's over, right?
mhm.
Maybe you have another one, in a few weeks. You're like, hey, we got to do another open house. The house is still on the market. Okay. But it's linear for the most part. But when you have an asset, understanding the visibility structure and how it compounds, and you write, let's say, an article on your website about the neighborhood, you answer FAQs about the neighborhood, you are creating different content videos about that market. That all is going to continue working for you long after you create it. And so what
Totally.
happens is one disappears when you stop, and then the other keeps generating trust. And
Mhm.
that's why it's so important to understand that assets work longer and harder for you in the long run than a quick little fix of, hey, here's an open house. Now, granted, yes, I think open houses are great. It allows you to then generate potential clients. You get information. Have those open houses. Don't stop
For
doing them.
sure.
Like, that's
Yeah.
how I found my real estate agent. It was by going to an open house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not saying don't do
No,
that
for sure.
stuff. What we're saying is the difference if you have an open house and you have, people coming in and out, if you have a paper sign up sheet, and nothing and business cards, as opposed to a QR code they can scan, and when they do that, it opens up like your website or page on your website that's like, welcome to this neighborhood, and it's, you know what I mean? So you can use the two. You can, fuse them, right?
Yeah.
Use the technology and use your rank and reputation to
Yeah.
enhance your person to person relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're going to look you up anyway. In fact, they could look you up right there. They could be standing in front of you and pull their phone out, right? And be like,
Yes.
"Oh, what was your name?" Okay, cool. And they could just check you out. And then they could be
Yeah.
like, "This guy
Yeah.
is not for me," or, "Hey, cool. Like, look at all these videos he's done.
Yeah.
Wow, he's talking about this problem, that problem, this problem. I see him in this neighborhood. I've seen, you know what I mean?" So they're going to do it anyways, right?
No, 100%. 100%. And it's so true. And then honestly, you also have then like the ones that do use the assets, but then they quit too early. And that's the other thing that I want to help agents understand too is like just because you start posting consistently, let's say for 3 weeks, which once again, like that's awesome, right? You're building a habit and that's what you need to do to stand
Yes.
out in this industry now, right? Like you have to build a digital presence. So if you start building that habit of posting and you're doing it, let's say for 3 weeks, for a month, but then you're like, hey, I'm not seeing results and I'm not getting a deal, so I'm going to stop, right? What happens
Mhm.
is while another agent is quietly posting consistently and you are stopping your habit of posting, what happens is you might say, well, why did this agent blow up versus me? I was posting and nothing happened. Well, the difference was they never stopped.
Yep.
They never stopped creating that blog post. They never stopped creating content and videos. They never stopped sending out newsletters. They never stopped adding FAQs to their Google business profiles. And that's how they blew up because they compounded over time. So that's
Yes.
why I like to always say, like, never give up. Continue. Your efforts you might not see the results right there, but you got to put in the work and then you'll see a little bit of results. And then you got to put in the work again and you'll see a little bit more of the results. And it all compounds. And if agents realize that their work is going to have success, they might not see the results right away. They will, I'm going to say 99.9% because you can never 100% guarantee.
Right. Right.
99.9% can say you will generate success by the compounding effect when you are consistent, when you create habits for yourself. And hey, if you're listening right now and you're like, I agree. I 100% feel like I do need to do that, or like
Mm-hmm.
I am struggling with that. You can find partners like Agent Elite who have a concierge service who knows what to do, how to do it. If you are like, hey, I don't have the time because I'm so busy with my clients, hey, awesome. We have a team that will do it for you. We have the concierge. And a lot of our clients that are on concierge are seeing the compounding effect because their
Right.
brand is getting out, they're consistent, they're getting the message, they're coming up in AI because we're posting blogs about FAQs in their neighborhoods so that people can come up as a result. So if that's you and you're like, hey, that is something I want to explore, feel free to also reach out to us. We're more than happy to see which plan, works best for you. But yeah, it's all a compounding effect that ties everything together.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so, I mean, let's talk about if we've got the compounding effect, the consistent agents are seeing, I'm sure at 6 months, again, I can't, no guarantees, but, as a generalization there, inbound leads are going to start coming in from content that was published 2 or 3 months prior.
Yep.
Just like you were saying, right? And then, they're going to get contacted by people who have probably been watching their content for a while.
Yeah.
I've bumped into people before that have been like, oh, I love that, I love the video that you posted for your band or whatever. And it's, something that was posted a few months back. So It definitely does happen, right? And then, you're going to be showing up for AI search. You're going to have the AI tools in your market that have to do with real estate are going to begin to surface you for searches. Your review count, as long as you're doing this face to face, adding it in your sales, in your, transactional process, but then also leaning into the tools that are available to you to generate reviews. All of this is going to be easier for you. And then in a year, that flywheel is just going to keep spinning. You're going to have this body of content that's working for you, not only as a place where people can go, but when AI searches that, it's going to be like, wow, this person has been posting every day for a year, right? And it's valuable content. And it doesn't always have to be perfect either, guys. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But yeah, so I mean, that's the compounding gap is there. And so when somebody's like, geez, like this video you posted is getting all of these likes, it's like, well, right, my new ones are, but I started doing it 2 or 3 years ago and I've done it every day and it didn't start to hit like that until like 6 months ago.
Yep.
So it's the tip of the iceberg. There's this huge amount of work that goes into it. And at Agent Elite, I mean, we're literally trying to trim down the amount of time it takes you guys to get there, increase the efficiency and the systems that you use to get there so you can take advantage of not necessarily even how the algorithms are now, but how it's going to be. Right? Like this is the way of the future. So what do you tell the agent that can't make up the lost time? What do they do to so I got to get something moving now? How do I get started and make the biggest splash?
Yeah, I'm going to say, you know what? Now is better than never. So let's just start there and congratulate you on recognizing that you have to make this shift. But you're going to kind of get a roadmap of like, okay, where is your business? Where do you want to be? And then that way we can come up with the best plan. Because I'm going to be honest, every single agent is at a different stage in their career. They're at different goals. There's different things they want to achieve. So in order for us, Agent Elite, to be able to service you best or give you the right tools, we need to know where you're at, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and where you want to be. And then from there, we're able to then give you the roadmap that's going to help you get there. So it really is dependent on what you are wanting to achieve. And then we have the right tools and products that pretty much service every single one, depending on, once again, what they're trying to achieve. So
it's like customizable.
100%. Yep.
Cool. Take me through that.
Yeah. So like as far as our tools, right? Like we have a website. Okay, every website's going to be a little different in the sense of like a real estate agent in Las Vegas is going to have completely different look than a real estate in Florida. Okay, so like as far as like you're going to be able to customize it, you can make it your brand, you have your logos, you have your communities that you focus on. Okay, you have your CRM. Everyone's CRM is going to be different because everyone's database looks different, right? You can customize your campaigns in your system and add your own. And then you have like the local presence tool. Obviously, everyone's tool allows the same functionalities, but the goal of how you use it might be different. So let's say you're on local presence tier, right? You might only, if you're on that package, you're probably only focusing on just making sure your listings and directories are accurate and consistent. That's really all you're focusing on. Then if you're wanting to be more, where you're worrying about more of your reputation management and you're able to do social posts, then you're going to be on our boost, right? So you're going to have everything that Light has, but then the boost is going to allow you to then also manage your reputation on all of the directories. So Google, Facebook, Yelp, where you can then look at what reviews you have, make sure you're responding immediately. You'll get alerted for any review that comes on any of those platforms. You'll be able to generate reviews easily from the system and track that, see if it was open or clicked, whatever stage you are in for that review. You'll be able to see if someone did write the review. And then if you're wanting to even level up even more from that, we have our local presence elite, and it's going to be everything we just talked about in Boost. Oh, and also in Boost you also have social posting, so you can create one post, social media post, to Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all 4 of those platforms in an instant. Okay, one post, 4 different platforms. You get that all in Elite, plus you now have our AI scouting. So what that does is it says, hey, I have my listings accurate and consistent. I have my review generation. I'm able to use the social posting tool. And now I'm going to track how you compare to your competitors and see how you rank in AI. And based off of that result, I'm going to give you the recommendations you need to do. So then that way you can surpass your competition. And then once again, depending on where you are in your business and which one you want to focus on is where we'll suggest you and what package or which tier you should be at.
Yeah, that's rad. So that's like full functionality, right? So what Blake is saying, like if you haven't started and you're going to start and you join Agent Elite, you've got your identity. You're clear on who you help. You're the agent, what you do, the specific problems. We're going to take that and we're going to make sure that it is presented professionally, branded how you want to be seen, that reflects you, right? Then we're going to build the infrastructure, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to do either for you or with you, or we'll show you how to do it. But either way, it's going to get done. We're going to make sure that all of your accounts are integrated. You're going to have your CRM set up. We're going to help you get your contacts in there. All of this stuff, segment them. And this is like hours and hours and hours worth of setup. Yeah. So, that's one of the greatest value adds is building this infrastructure. And then if you want, we've got options, right, for you to create that consistent content. The blogs we're talking about, where 2 to 3 months from now, somebody might see that and then engage with you, sign up for your newsletter, or click and see, hey, I want to check out social. Well, guess what? You've been using our Elite package. You've had social posts going up for the past 3 months too. So they go check you out there. They're like, oh, okay, well, they're active on social media. They can see what you're all about. Hopefully you're doing your own content as well, right? Like out and about doing the video stuff and all of that. But yeah, so that's really, and then lastly, we're going to help you automate, right? Because if you're bringing in these leads, that's only a quarter of the battle. You got to get them in, you got to nurture them, you got to close them, and then you have to continue to stay in front of them and re-engage them so you can get referrals and stay top of mind and all of that, right? So, but this is the system right here that in 6 months to 12 months, if you do this consistently, it's going to compound and you're going to start to see results. But people just quit too quickly,
Don't be that person.
Yeah, don't be that person. And really, with reviews specifically,
Yeah.
I'm curious about this because this was a question that was posited to me actually. If I take a review that comes in on Google and
Mhm.
I repost it other places or make it a template and post it on Instagram or something like that, will AI see that content from all angles as well? And does that help you?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
So you
Yes.
repost like the review, it can, it can see the caption, it can look and see all of the different places where those are. So that's a big asset because people are like, oh, the testimonial templates, like they're just pointless. They don't do anything and it's really generic. And I was thinking about that, like, well, maybe, but what if, AI is in charge now, so it's a different game. So
Yeah,
that's good to know.
100%. Well, also too, you want that look at it as like it's telling the exact same story, right? So like if someone were to look you up and they go on your Google business profile and they see this review, talking about how you were able to negotiate their contract and you specialize in relocation, and then that's posted on your social, they're going to say, oh, this matches up to what I saw on Google. This is sweet. Let me look at
Mhm.
other posts now. Oh, it's on their website. Sweet. So like it's all consistent. It's all telling the same story. And so then when AI goes and cites, it's like, hey, I seen this review on their Google, their website, their social. Like this is someone that I'm going to refer because it's telling the exact same story. And AI is able to cite that and then say, hey, we've seen this post across multiple platforms of theirs. This is one, confirming their digital identity of who they
Mhm.
are and what they specialize in. This is someone potentially we could surface as a result. So yeah, I think testimonials go a long way, reviews go a long way, and
Yeah.
that on every single thing. Like that is like almost like the stamp of getting more referrals, right? Like the more that you're able to show, hey, this person's talked highly about me and I have it on all of my channels, like that's huge. And what that can do is feed you better leads because if someone might have found your Google business profile, but let's say they didn't go to your website. Well, then you have
Mhm.
someone else that found your website, but they didn't go to your Google business profile. So if you
Yeah.
have that review listed in one spot, that's missed out opportunities of where
Yes.
maybe other buyers and sellers are searching. So
Yeah.
that's another reason why you want to make sure you are keeping all of your reviews across all of your platforms.
Maximize.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
not create one source of content and you can multiply that into like five different like assets.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, no, I completely 100% agree. And that's so fitting because a lot of agents are solopreneurs. A lot of
Yeah.
them are doing this stuff themselves. So, I think Blake and I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do hard, expensive things easier and cheap for real estate agents. So we're trying, that's one of our goals, guys, is to get you more bang for your buck. But check it out. Like kind of what we're talking about, content feeds more reviews. The better the content you have, the more established you are. It's going to be easier for you to get reviews because you've already had this connection with your client even before they even started doing business with you because you've built up this organic brand, right? And then your reviews that come in are going to feed more AI recommendations because AI is going to see those reviews coming in. And if you're doing like Blake and I say, put it everywhere, right? It's going to build that up. And then those AI recommendations are going to do what? They're going to feed you more inbound leads, right?
Yeah.
So your AI visibility is going to improve. Inbound leads are going to start arriving and they're going to be better quality, guys, because they're pre-warmed. They've
Yeah.
already, have you ever clicked on an ad or a page and then where you get to is looks nothing like what you clicked on? It's a different hook. It's like a totally different thing. And it's just like, what just happened, right? So these people are going to be pre-warmed because they've been seeing you already, right? And then those inbound leads, that's going to feed more social proof and reviews.
Yeah.
So then you're going to have more reviews. And if you just keep that machine moving, it's going to build, it's going to compound, and it's really going to be a big asset for you. So that's what we want to do. And how you do that is, well, what's step number one?
I'm going to let you take this one over.
Okay. Step number one is, first of all, I would say figure out exactly who you are, who you serve, what problems you solve. Because if you're casting a net that's too wide, It may be harder to hit, but I would say go through your database, segment your leads, and figure out, the low hanging fruit, and then exactly who you are and who you want to serve. Once you get that down, then you can create your branding assets and all of that stuff. If you're working with a brokerage, you know what? They'll help you with that. Both of us would suggest that you brand yourself though, right? Because your buyer or seller is not working with you because you're part of Keller Williams or a different brokerage. And those brokerages are great. That they're great, but I'm just saying you want your unique individual brand to come out.
You want control of your brand and your assets.
Yep. And then the next thing is I would map out exactly what content, what questions are my buyers and sellers asking? What neighborhood am I in? What's good about the neighborhood? Become the expert, meet people, all of that. And then obviously you got to have a website, right? You've got to have a website. You got to have an IDX website. You've got to have AI functionality. You know why? Because all of your competitors, this is the way of the world here. So you need a good website with a good UX. You're going to build that. You're going to have your social media platforms. And then you're going to do just like we were talking about. You're going to start creating content and maximizing that out. So you're repurposing it for different profiles, and you're going to do all of that consistently for a good amount of time, at least 3 months before you start looking at if it's working or not.
Yeah, minimum. So no,
I
think you hit it right on the head, Max. That was awesome.
Yeah. So the challenge, look, this is good. Even if you're already established and you have a brand, a good exercise, just go back and think about like, who am I? Who specifically do I want to help? Who am I? And if you haven't established one, who am I now? Has anything changed? It's always good to go back and go over this stuff because you can always sharpen your brand and your identity. And here's my challenge is give us a call at Agent Elite and say, hey, I saw that content flywheel episode and I want to know exactly how to do that. And we'll provide you with the resources, or you can go to agentelite.com/visible if you want the Visible Agent download guide, which will explain this very, very in depth as well. But that's what I got for you guys. Until next week, you got to get out there. You got to get on your grind.
Let's do it.